Hi and welcome to my channel here at Nick Reads Books. Today I'm going to be going through a deep dive of the Wandering Inn Volume 1, spoiler free, so not too many details. For those of you who don't know too much about the Wandering Inn, just going to read a bit of the synopsis from Goodreads. No killing goblins. So reads the sign outside of the Wandering Inn, a small building run by a young woman named Erin Solstice. She serves pasta with sausage, blue fruit juice, and dead acid flies on request. And she comes from another world. Ours. It's a bad day when Erin finds herself transported to a fantastical world and nearly gets eaten by a dragon. She doesn't belong in a place where monsters attack. Monster attacks are a fact of life and where humans are a species among many. But she must adapt to her new life or die. In a dangerous world where magic is real and people can level up and gain classes, Erin Solstice must battle somewhat evil goblins, deadly rock crabs, and hungry necromancers. She is no warrior, no mage. Erin Solstice runs an inn. She's an innkeeper. So I think that synopsis really lays the foundations for the book. The book's quite long, so that doesn't really scratch the surface of what's going on, I think, in the larger series. But with that brief introduction to the book, let me jump into my ratings. So the overall rating I gave The Wandering Inn Volume 1 is a 7.7 out of 10. For emotional impact, I gave it a 7. For characters, I gave it an 8. For plot, I gave it an 8 as well. For prose, I gave it a 6.5. For world building, I gave it a 9. While this is one of the more, I would say, enjoyable books I've read recently, obviously that number 7.7 has been brought down quite a bit because of the prose. Probably the one thing about the book that is a bit iffy, but I'll jump into that when I get to the prose section of this video. So starting off with emotional impact, as I said, I gave it a 7 out of 10. For myself, I think emotional impact was one of the weaker parts of the book, unfortunately. That's not to say that the book didn't have some thought-provoking and emotionally charged moments or sad moments. However, they just didn't really elicit a reaction out of me. Without being able to dive into too many spoilers, I feel like some of the more emotional parts of the book were dealt in an interesting way, is the way I'll put it, by the main characters. I think if you've read the book, you might also feel the same, or you might understand where I'm coming from. And as this book and series is really long, I think you'll come to feel more for the characters and understand them better, and eventually those moments will hit harder. Moving on to the plot of The Wandering Inn. So let me preface this section with obviously saying that this series is absolutely massive. I believe at the moment it's over 10 million words, so I really just scratched the surface of the wider story. Although the book was over 1,200 pages, I really couldn't put it down. I got it done in about 2 weeks, which is pretty quick for me. I would say the first third or half of the book is a real slow burn as we get to meet our main character, Erin Solstice, and follow her through her trials and tribulations of learning how to run an inn, as well as when we first meet Ryoka, one of the other main characters, and follow her around as she does her job as a runner. That being said, even just being with these characters, well, mainly Erin, is exciting or thrilled me enough to keep reading. As I sort of said, I think the plot leading up to the first interlude is a bit of a slower one, but after that it really opens up and you really start to meet a lot more side characters, and there's all these interwoven plots that are being introduced to the story, and you can see that this world is really expansive and that there's a lot going on. I really enjoyed probably the last third of the book, where the action really kicked up and the pace really picked up, I think, towards the end, and finished off on a real, thrilling conclusion. Excited for the second book. Now, for the characters, what to say about these characters? Let's just say I really enjoy one character, one of the main characters, more than the other, that being Erin Solstice. I think that the side characters that come along and that we meet with Erin are more enjoyable than the ones that we meet with Ryoka, but suffice to say that Ryoka is one of the most annoying and detestable characters I've probably ever read in fantasy. I can't really put below any other character I've read. I just couldn't stand her. To be honest, I kept finding myself Googling after reading a lot of her chapters, Googling to see if I was in the same boat as anyone, and I feel like at the moment it's a bit of a 50-50 with the fandom. You either love her or hate her, and I definitely fall into the hater box. With that being said, I really hope we see some growth from Ryoka. From what I've seen, this will come in the sequel, but overall I don't think she changes that much, which might be a bit of a disappointment. But I'm really enjoying Erin and all her sidekicks and side characters and all the interactions she's having with those. So there's definitely some benefit, some positives to the story. As I mentioned in the plot, because of the large cast of side characters and main characters, you can see how there's multiple different plot lines going on, different motives from different sort of people and different side characters, and all sort of revolving around our two main characters. And obviously that'll be interesting to see how those play out and what sort of plans these different parties have. Now onto the pros. Obviously, I said at the beginning this was a 6.5 and a bit of a disappointment, I think, overall for the book. But to be honest, the writing is not that bad. Apart from the odd grammatical or spelling error, which is understandable, as this is obviously published by Pirate Arbor as a web series and isn't edited by a professional editor, I believe. So there's obviously going to be those errors that slip through her own editing. I definitely think there's some parts where they flex their writing muscles and really show what level of writing they can achieve, and I really hope to see that becomes better and better throughout the books and throughout the series. So for the world building and the magic system, let's just say this is my favorite part, I would say, about the books. Recently I've been getting back into some more D&D sort of content online and on podcasts and videos, and to say that this scratched a certain itch would be an understatement. All the world building with the classes, the levels, the skills, different guilds, specific classes that go with jobs, adventurers, mobs, monsters, everything really kept me hooked, I feel like. This also may be a reason why I enjoyed Erin's parts much more than Ryoka's. Jumping into probably early Ryoka light spoilers for the book. I'll give you a chance to click off the video now, but in 3, 2, 1, Ryoka just downright denies getting a class or leveling up at all, because she doesn't want to be a part of the system, is how it feels. It feels very, I don't know, edgy teenager. But so yeah, for me, 100%, I feel like the world building and the magic system is probably the strongest part of the series at the moment. And I can't wait for that to evolve and just to follow our characters and side characters through as they level up, discover new skills, get classes, and yeah, just do RPG shenanigans. Well, that has been my spoiler-free review of The Wandering Inn by Pirate Arbor. While this book and series might not be for everyone, I would definitely recommend to most fantasy readers, and I definitely think you should give it a try. And this is hard to say, but give it at least half the book, or to the first interlude, or just after the first interlude, even though that might be 600 pages, to really see if you can get into the series. And I think if you do, you'll really be rewarded with some really great fantasy writing. I look forward to jumping into volume 2 at some point during the year. Unfortunately, the size of these books really puts a damper on things with all the other books that I want to read, but I definitely want to jump into volume 2 pretty soon. Once again, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and I'll see you back here soon. See ya.